The Navy SEALs were laughing again. Their voices echoed down the steel corridor of Naval Base Coronado as mops squeaked against the floor. "Careful, Chief!" one of them smirked, nudging his buddy. "Don't slip on the janitor's promotion ceremony." The men burst into laughter, except one man. The janitor. Ethan Cole didn't look up. He just kept mopping. He'd heard worse. But what none of them knew, what no one in that entire base knew, was that the man they mocked once commanded the skies, and saved lives that now mocked his silence. Every morning before sunrise, Ethan arrived with his 8-year-old daughter, Lily. She'd sit quietly in the break room before school, drawing with crayons while her dad polished the hallways of the Pacific Fleet headquarters. "Why do you let them be mean, Daddy?" she'd ask. Ethan would smile softly, brushing her hair back. "Because some battles, sweetheart," he'd whisper, "aren't worth fighting." To the young SEALs, Ethan was just the janitor. His uniform was faded, his boots worn. He kept to himself, never spoke unless spoken to. But one day, during a staff assembly in the main hall, something shifted. The SEAL commander, a brash, broad-shouldered man named Lieutenant Briggs, was giving a speech about discipline and rank. He spotted Ethan cleaning quietly near the door and smirked. "Now there's a man who knows his place," Briggs said into the mic, earning laughs from the crowd. "Maybe someday, if you mop fast enough, we'll pin a star on your bucket." Laughter erupted. Ethan froze, face burning, but said nothing. He simply nodded, picked up his mop, and walked out. What none of them saw was Lily, standing in the doorway, clutching her little notebook. Tears filled her eyes. A week later, the base buzzed with news. A 4-star general was visiting from Washington. And not just any general, General Amelia Stanton, one of the most respected and powerful figures in the U.S. military. Everyone scrambled to look sharp. Even Ethan was told to make the place shine. By the time her jet touched down, the hallways gleamed. The SEALs stood in formation as the general strode in, tall, commanding, her presence cutting through the air like a blade. Then she stopped. Her eyes landed on Ethan. And everything changed. "Sergeant Major Cole," she said, her voice calm but sharp. "I never expected to find you here." You could hear a pin drop. Lieutenant Briggs blinked. "Ma'am, you know him?" General Stanton turned slowly. "Know him? This man saved my entire unit in Afghanistan. He refused evacuation until every soldier was accounted for. He flew 3 rescue runs under enemy fire, alone." Murmurs rippled through the ranks. Ethan stood frozen, humility etched into every line on his face. "I ordered him to take a Medal of Honor," Stanton continued. "He refused it. Said the real heroes didn't make it home." Her voice grew hard. "And this is how you treat him?" Briggs stammered. "Ma'am, I didn't know." "That's the problem, Lieutenant." She cut him off. "You never ask before you judge." The general stepped forward, standing eye to eye with Ethan. "Sergeant Major, it's an honor to see you again. I owe you my life." Then she turned to the entire base. "From this day forward, every person who walks these halls will remember this. Rank fades, character doesn't." That night, after the base emptied, Ethan and Lily stood outside beneath the flag. She looked up at him, eyes wide. "You were a hero, Daddy?" He smiled faintly. "I just did what needed to be done, sweetheart." She held his hand tightly. "But now they know." He looked down at her drawing, a picture of him holding her hand, standing in front of an American flag. At the top, she'd written in wobbly crayon letters, "My dad, the real hero." For the first time in years, Ethan felt the weight lift from his shoulders. That night, after the base emptied, Ethan and Lily stood outside beneath the flag. She looked up at him, eyes wide. "You were a hero, Daddy?" He smiled faintly. "I just did what needed to be done, sweetheart." She held his hand tightly. "But now they know." He looked down at her drawing, a picture of him holding her hand, standing in front of an American flag. At the top, she'd written in wobbly crayon letters, "My dad, the real hero." For the first time in years, Ethan felt the weight lift from his shoulders. The next morning, as the sun rose over Coronado, the SEALs stood by the mess hall.